Before we start baking, I thought you'd like to have a look at my Hoosier again. Even though I have done a tutorial on this before, I think these Hoosiers were popular in the 30s and 40s, where, women back there, their kitchens were small and not a lot of cupboard space like we have in our kitchens now. So this Hoosier would hold everything that they needed at one stop. So I did get this at an auction. It has, on top I have decorative crocks and scales and things that make me feel good, give me comfort. I have aprons there and old cookbooks. Beside it, I have my KitchenAid that plugs in. My KitchenAid is on a 3-tier roller caddy that if I'm having company, I can roll it away. But on these days of isolation, I just leave it there. I love crocks. There's a big crock and I fill that with flour, so it's always there. So now this Hoosier has a porcelain top that pulls out, extends, and pushes in. And up here, it's an ordinary kitchen. Yep, peanut butter, my measuring cups, my Tupperware canisters that I have labeled with brown sugar, white sugar, baking soda, and powder. Over here, I have all my spices. Down underneath is another cupboard, and I open this wide when I'm going to bake. And yep, I have a toaster in there that's always plugged in. We pull it out so the heat doesn't wreck the top or catch fire. And I have an easy wrap there. I love that. We mounted that. My oils, my vinegar, balsamic vinegar, things that don't have to be refrigerated. And then this is a sifter. So this holds 50 pounds of flour, and I don't use it. I have used it in the past, but here is a wind and a funnel that sifts your flour. I have my crock, so I use that, and that's easier, and then I can cram more stuff in there. And then below is just cupboards that my bottom drawer has got spices and that, and then the bottom cupboard just holds all my racks, my cake racks and cooling racks. So I thought maybe you'd like to see that. I won this at an auction when we were first, when I was first working, and had always wanted one, and my husband, dear Phil, was willing to come with me, and we set a price that we would stop at. And I'm telling you, the bidding was on. He was scared, and my hand kept going on, up, and bidding against somebody else. But finally, it stopped, and it said sold to that woman over there. And boy, oh boy, have I used this over the years. The grandkids sit here, they pull up a chair, and they bake right there. If they're watching this, this is home to them. I'm always baking with them, and I love baking and cooking and doing a lot of things from scratch. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour of my Hoosier. It was all refinished. I didn't have to do a thing to it. What a blessing. What a blessing. So stay tuned because we are going to bake. Welcome to Bonnie's Best Creations, and today I'm cooking from my Hoosier, and I have a craving for chocolate. So we're going to make a recipe of mine. It's a chocolate loaf cake. So stand by and watch me bake. I don't know if you knew that sometimes I skip the basics. I just think people know, but when you're making a cake, a loaf cake, you always beat your butter first. So I've got a 1 cup of butter. And just beat that till it's light. And then I'm going to add slowly 2 cups of white sugar. That good till it's light and fluffy. Now to that I'm going to add 2 eggs. So cake is always done like that, right? Just so that you know that. Your butter and sugar, shortening and sugar, whatever you're using, and then your eggs. And mix that good. I'm going to set that aside. Now we're going to mix in a bowl our dry ingredients. And our dry ingredients is one cup of flour, a half a cup of cocoa, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and just mix that. Now, it calls for a cup of sour milk. I don't have sour milk. So to sour your own milk, you put a teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar and fill it to the 1 cup with milk and let it sit. And that becomes your sour milk. And so what I'm going to do alternately is add my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients. could use buttermilk if you had it. I don't have buttermilk. I'm just going to lower that to add the rest of my that. Now, this recipe calls for 1 cup of boiling water to be put in at the last. This is known as a hot water cake. It's made in a loaf pan. You could put it in another and stir that in. I'm going to pour this into a buttered flour loaf pan and bake at 350 for 40 minutes. Okay, this loaf took about 40 minutes to bake. I have a convection oven, so depending on your oven, but I set it at 350 and baked it. You know when your loaf or your cake is done if you take a toothpick, or I have a long wooden skewer, the shish kebab skewers, and if it goes in the middle and out clean, it is done. It's best for a loaf cake to sit till it's completely cool before you turn it over and turn it out of the pan. This recipe can be used, like, you can dust the top with icing sugar. You can slice it and serve it with a scoop of ice cream and maybe some strawberry, cut up strawberries on top. Or it might just be an added thing to a dessert plate that you're taking to a shower, mixed with other loaves, blueberry loaf, pound cake, raisin bread, and it is a nice loaf, a treat. So I sure hope you give this a try. I will list all the ingredients below, so take a check at that, and please subscribe. Let me know if you tried it. God bless and have a wonderful day.